Hi everyone, Lisa Haven here, and I've got a red alert to share with you guys today, and that is this. Not only is the country of China now attempting to destabilize the United States of America from within by infiltrating our schools, our colleges, our businesses, our law enforcement, pretty much even our government, every aspect of society. Not only that, but now China has just issued a terrifying warning to the United States of America, and this is coming on the heels of their destabilization plan. But before I get into any of that, I got to remind you, get to restrictedrepublic.com. I am going to be airing a bombshell video report on what happened with the Maricopa County audit here in Arizona, and I'm going to be getting into details on that report on restrictedrepublic.com. I'm publishing that video today on Restricted only. But right now, for the next 48 hours, you can get Restricted Republic for 3 years, $50 per year if you use the coupon code 3year and the number 50. And this is the biggest special we have ever had on the broadcast, but it lasts for 3 years, $50 per year. Use that code 3year and the number 50 when you get on over there. But again, it's only available for the next 48 hours, and then we're closing down that coupon. But get there and see the big report that I have to share with you. All right, so let's get into what's going on with China and the United States of America. Let's start first with the big announcement that you need to see. Take a look at this article, and this is on thesun.co.uk. Bombs away. China must hit the United States with nuke attack before they strike if Biden defends Taiwan, says diplomat in chilling message to the West. And you could see this is very recently published, the 24th of September, 2021. Now, the article goes on to state that China must make the first nuclear strike against the U.S. if Joe Biden continues to defend Taiwan, a top Chinese diplomat says. Beijing's former ambassador to the UN, Sha Zukang, said the country's longstanding promise to only use nukes in retaliation should be re-examined in response to the new alliances forming in the region. The article goes on a little bit further. And this is what he said specifically. The unconditional no first use is not suitable unless China-U.S. negotiations agree that neither side would use nuclear weapons first, or the U.S. will no longer take any passive measures to undermine the effectiveness of China's strategic forces. The strategic pressure on China is intensifying as the U.S. has built a new military alliances and as it increases its military presence in our neighborhood. So here we have a Chinese, right, a top Chinese diplomat who is going on record saying, you know what, let's just scrap the policy of we're not going to, basically, they're going to scrap the idea that we don't send a nuke unless you send a nuke. So if you nuke us, then we'll nuke you back. Well, let's just scratch that. And now, instead of that policy, let's just have it where we can nuke you. It doesn't even have to be a retaliation nuke. This is downright terrifying, especially in light of the turbulent relationship that we have going on. Now, either way, what we do know, since what I've been studying, or let me say it this way, what I believe is that Biden, through Hunter Biden, his son, and even some of the dealings that they've done, we've seen the influence that China has on Joe Biden, right here in the U.S. So can you imagine what kind of backdoor deals are likely happening right now with Joe Biden? And that's why I think a lot of the destabilization plans that China has implemented over the years has become stronger and stronger and stronger, because here's the end game for Communist Party, right? Infiltrate from within, destabilize the country, make them ripe for war or ready for war. And it feels like that's exactly what's going on here. It feels like that to me, right? And here's what I'm talking about. Take a look at some of the things that China has infiltrated throughout the years right here in the U.S. Access.com. Exclusive. Suspected Chinese spy targeted California politicians. That was Eric Swalwell, right? He was compromised there by a Chinese spy. Then we also have Fox News. Mike Pompeo warns governors of Chinese infiltration into the U.S. It's happening in your state. Then we also have Washington Examiner, and some of these, and this is written in 2021, but how the Chinese Communist Party is infiltrating local U.S. government. Then we have FoxNews.com, China accused of efforts to infiltrate U.S. colleges as GOP actually launched a probe over this. Then we also have Fox Business, Chinese spies infiltrating U.S. law enforcement, businesses world a real threat, NYPD commissioner says. BreitbartNews.com, exclusive, Mike Pompeo says China is infiltrating our government, our businesses, and even our schools. And DailyWire.com, here we have Liz Cheney asked the DOJ to investigate whether China and Russia are infiltrating U.S. environmental groups. Not really care for that woman very much, but there you have it, right? So here we have China, according to a lot of these reports, infiltrating our schools, infiltrating our businesses, our law enforcements, even our politicians, right? So this is how they are working their destabilization policy. And this is why you see such a rise of communism in the United States of America. And that's not all. You see, one of the main cards that China has been playing over the years is the woke card, wokeism. This is a straight up spawn from the Communist Party, and this is how they're destabilizing our country, and it's working, right? Unfortunately. That's why we have to start waking up to these woke policies. But here's a great article on it. This is on the epictimes.com. China is using wokeism to erode U.S. democracy, author says. And this was written September 17th, 2021, so very recently. And he says, the communist regime in China is using wokeism as a geopolitical tool to undermine U.S. democracy, according to Vivek Ramaswamy. And I may have butchered that name, but he's the author of Woke Incorporated, Inside Corporate America's Social Justice Scam. They, he says, China, are using that to divide us, to use that as a kink in our armor to divide us from within by getting corporations to criticize injustices here without saying a peep about injustices over there in China and deflecting accountability for their human rights abuses, he said in an interview, right? Now, the article goes on to expand a little more, and it talks about how U.S. companies that criticize social issues here in the U.S., right? There's a bunch of them here in the U.S. criticizing, like Disney, like the NBA, right? All standing for wokeism. However, when it comes to policies over in China, they're different. So he says very clearly, U.S. companies that criticize social issues in the U.S. basically remain silent on China's human rights abuses, right? We had Disney, for example, they made the movie Mulan, right in the region where they have locked up and imprisoned Uyghur Muslims. So their woke policies are just for the U.S. Same with the NBA. But he goes on to sum up this report to say this, and I think this is a very effective quote. He says, quote, this is a time of effectively living in a modern Red Guard revolution in America, except instead of the Chinese Red Guard pushing the philosophy of Marxism, the new Red Guard is pushing it through all of our major institutions. From the private sector to the public, they are pushing this new philosophy of wokeism. Someone inside needs to sound the alarm bell. He says, Mao instigated the Red Guards, who were Chinese high school and university students. Keep in mind, who are the ones that are being targeted with wokeism? Mainly our high school and university students. But Mao, again, instigated these Red Guards, who were mainly Chinese high school and university students, to persecute those identified as class enemies of the communist regime amid the Cultural Revolution that lasted 10 years until Mao's death. Well, the same policies are being used here in the United States of America to divide the U.S., and they're only woke policies for the U.S., right? Not for any other country, so to speak, because the entire idea isn't about wokeism, equality, and justice. It's to get us to, say, a Mao-style regime here in the United States of America. Definitely not what we want. But that's why I wanted to publish this report, because so many things are happening right now that you desperately need to be aware of. And on top of it all, what is Joe Biden doing? Well, not very much. Take a look at this article on FoxNews.com, the Ingram angle on Biden letting China off the hook, right? He's off the hook. Let's just, why? Because he's got a lot of people pulling some strings up there, the Biden strings, not to mention all the ordeal with his son, Hunter Biden, right? right? Anyhow, please get to restrictiverepublic.com. I'm going to do a bombshell report on the election. And with that, please don't forget to check out my partner at ketowithlisa.com. Look, if you're looking to diet without doing the massive keto diet, this is what Keto Elevate does. And it's so easy to take. You can just mix it in your coffee or you can mix it in your shake every morning. It's easy to use, but it really helps with diet and weight loss. And it's kind of like having the keto diet or doing the keto diet without all the massive keto dieting. Now, obviously, you still want to exercise when you can and have a diet, but this will definitely uptick what you're doing. Anyhow, I love all of you. Thank you so much for being here on the channel. I really appreciate every single one of you. I'm Lisa Haven, signing out.